Okay, so today we're going to be looking at forcible entry and detainer in California. And our listener wants to know,
Yeah.
is this the same thing as like a regular eviction?
Right?
It seems like it's something that causes a lot of confusion.
It really does, yeah. And especially in California.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a state with strong tenant protections.
Yeah?
It's really important to know the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
These two things are very different, legally speaking.
So for this deep dive, you actually sent us quite a variety of sources.
I did.
We have legal guides, blog posts. We even have some marketing materials, it looks like.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we got the whole picture.
I like it, yeah.
You know, not just the legal stuff, but also like how this actually works in real life.
Yeah, so it seems like you really want to like get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like all the practical aspects of it too.
Yeah, if you ever find yourself in this situation, you want to know what to do right now.
For sure. So I guess the best place to start is with some definitions.
Okay.
What exactly is forcible entry and detainer?
Right.
I mean, the legal guides that you sent, they lay it out pretty clearly.
They do.
It's basically a landlord who is trying to remove a tenant.
Right.
Using force or threats.
Yeah.
Or just doing things that are straight up illegal.
Exactly.
So like a textbook example would be if they like change the locks while the tenant's at work.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic one.
Or like shut off the utilities without giving them proper notice.
Absolutely. Or even like removing the tenant's belongings from the property.
Without permission.
Yeah, that's forcible entry and detainer.
Or FED for short.
Right.
And the thing is here, the landlord's completely ignoring like the legal process.
It's like they're making up their own rules.
Yeah.
Which is a huge problem.
It's like they're judge, jury, and executioner all in one.
Exactly.
Which is a huge no-no in California.
Huge no-no, yeah. California is very serious about protecting tenants from this type of behavior.
Yeah.
It's a violation of their rights. And landlords who do this can face serious consequences.
So if a landlord can't just like force their way into getting a tenant out, what is the right way to do it?
Right. So that's where unlawful detainer comes in.
Okay.
Which is the legal term for eviction in California.
Gotcha.
It's a formal process.
Yeah.
It's got to follow very specific steps. And those steps are designed to protect the rights of both the landlord and the tenant.
Interesting. So it's not about like giving one side an advantage.
Exactly.
It's about making sure it's fair.
Yeah, fairness and following the law.
Yeah, and all these sources, they really highlight how important it is that every single step of this unlawful detainer process is followed to the letter.
Or to the letter, absolutely.
So we're talking proper written notices, specific time frames, court filings, hearings, the whole 9 yards.
The whole thing. And there's a good reason for that.
Yeah.
Because if the landlord misses even one step, like serving the wrong type of notice or messing up the paperwork, that can give the tenant grounds to challenge the whole eviction.
Wow. Okay. So even though both of these, forcible entry and detainer and unlawful detainer, ultimately mean the tenants getting removed from the property.
Yeah.
They're totally different.
Completely.
In the eyes of the law.
One's illegal.
Yeah.
And the other's the only legal way to evict someone in California.
And I bet that difference has some really big implications.
Oh, huge implications. Especially when it comes to their rights.
Yeah.
And what they can do to protect themselves.
Which is exactly what we're going to be unpacking as we continue this deep dive.
Can't wait.
So let's talk about what a tenant can do if they're in one of these situations.
Okay.
So let's start with forcible entry and detainer, because we already established that this is straight up illegal.
Yeah, it's bad news for the landlord.
So what can a tenant do?
Well, the good news is that California really protects tenants in this situation.
Okay.
The courts take this very seriously.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of legal options available to get back on their feet.
Yeah, one of the guides you sent actually uses the term immediate restoration of possession.
Right.
Which sounds
That's exactly what it is.
Pretty straightforward.
The main goal in these cases is to get that tenant back in their home.
As quickly as possible.
ASAP.
So the court can actually force the landlord.
If they find that the landlord was acting illegally, they can issue an order that forces the landlord to give them back access.
So it's not just about saying like, hey, stop doing that.
Right.
It's about like literally putting them back in their house.
Putting them right back where they were.
Yeah.
Before the landlord messed up.
Before the landlord started doing all this illegal stuff.
Exactly.
But it goes beyond just getting back into the property.
Right. It does, yeah. You can also get financial compensation.
Okay.
For all of the trouble the landlord caused.
Yeah, the sources mention things like having to pay for like temporary housing.
Oh, yeah.
If you get locked out.
Like a hotel or something.
Yeah, or like replacing your stuff if it was damaged. Or even like lost wages if you couldn't work.
Absolutely.
Because of the situation.
All valid claims.
Oh.
And in some cases, the court can even go further.
Yeah.
They can award these things called statutory penalties.
What's that?
It's basically a fancy way of saying they're going to fine the landlord for breaking the law.
Yeah, I saw that those fines can be pretty hefty.
Oh, yeah. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Per violation.
Per violation. Wow.
Yeah, California does not mess around.
It's a good deterrent.
It's a strong message.
To these landlords, don't even think about taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it. So these remedies really have some teeth.
They do.
But even with all these protections in place, it still sounds really stressful for a tenant.
Oh, absolutely.
To be dealing with this.
Yeah, it's disruptive. It's scary.
Yeah.
Suddenly you can't get into your own home.
Your stuff might be gone.
Your stuff might be gone.
What to deal with lawyers.
Exactly.
So getting legal help.
As soon as possible.
Sounds really important.
Absolutely. The sooner the better.
So let's talk about unlawful detainer.
Okay.
If a landlord is actually following the eviction process.
Right.
What can a tenant do then?
So your rights are still protected.
Okay.
But the focus is a bit different. Instead of proving the landlord did something illegal, it's more about making sure they followed every single rule.
Gotcha.
Every step of the way.
It's like a legal chess match or something.
It really is.
Yeah.
And all of your sources
talk
about how important it is to look at every single detail.
So was it the right notice given?
Exactly. Was it delivered on time? Did they file the right paperwork?
Wow.
Every little thing matters.
And if the landlord makes even like a small mistake.
Even a tiny one.
Yeah.
It could ruin their whole case.
Wow. Okay, so having an attorney.
Oh, yeah, a good lawyer.
In this situation.
Gives you all the difference.
Super important.
Especially in California.
Yeah.
The laws here are so complicated.
It's like having someone who can help you navigate this whole crazy system.
It's like having a guide in a jungle. Someone who knows all the secret paths.
So whether you're dealing with forcible entry and detainer or an unlawful detainer lawsuit, getting legal help is essential.
Essential.
But there are also things that tenants can do
before
they even end up in one of these situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
To protect themselves.
It's all about being proactive.
So what kind of things are we talking about?
The number one thing,
right.
Document everything.
What do you mean?
I mean everything.
Yeah.
Keep copies of your lease, your rent receipts, any communication with your landlord.
Yeah.
Take pictures of your apartment.
Okay.
You want a paper trail.
Yeah.
In case anything happens.
Like building your evidence.
It is. It's your protection.
Before you even need it.
Yeah, you never know when you might need proof that you paid your rent on time or that you reported a broken appliance or that your apartment was in good condition when you moved in.
It's like protecting yourself from false accusations or like shady landlords trying to keep your deposit.
Exactly. It's all about protecting yourself. Yeah. It's like having proof that you didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
And another tip, learn about California tenant laws.
Yeah. I was seeing that in the sources.
There's so much information online.
Yeah.
There's tenant advocacy groups, legal aid organizations. They can all help you understand your rights.
Yeah. What
your landlord can and can't do.
Yeah. It's crazy how many people don't even know the basics.
I know, right?
Like, did you know in California, a landlord can't just come into your apartment whenever they want.
No, they can't.
They need to give you proper notice and have a valid reason.
It's your home.
Exactly.
You have rights.
Speaking of getting help,
okay.
These guides all say that if you're facing an eviction, whether it's forcible entry and detainer or an unlawful detainer lawsuit, you got to talk to a lawyer.
Absolutely.
It seems like landlord-tenant law
it is
super complicated.
It really is.
And the stakes are high.
Your home is on the line.
Exactly. So having a lawyer can make a huge difference.
It's like having a guide in a maze.
Okay.
They know all the twists and turns.
So they can help you understand the legal stuff.
Exactly.
File the right paperwork, deal with the landlord's lawyer.
Even represent you in court.
So even if you're not sure if you have a case.
Right.
Or if you can afford a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's still a good idea to at least talk to one.
A lot of lawyers offer free consultations.
Okay.
And there are legal aid organizations that can help.
So there's really no reason not to reach out.
Exactly. There are people who want to help.
Wow. It feels like we've gone through a lot today.
We have. It's been a journey.
We started with a simple question. Is forcible entry and detainer an eviction?
Right.
And we ended up talking about all sorts of things.
The ins and outs of tenant law.
Yeah, legal tips.
Practical advice.
Even the human side of all this.
It's all connected.
So let's recap what we learned today.
Okay.
First, we learned that forcible entry and detainer is not the same as an eviction.
Right.
It's legal.
It's the landlord taking the law into their own hands.
Exactly. And unlawful detainer is the legal term for eviction.
And it has to follow a specific process.
And we talked about what tenants can do if they're facing either of these situations.
Document everything.
Yeah, document everything.
Take action right away. Get legal help.
And we also talked about proactive steps tenants can take to protect themselves.
Know your rights.
Yeah, know your rights.
Keep good records.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. There are resources out there.
So to our listeners out there, remember, knowledge is power.
It really is.
When it comes to landlord-tenant law in California.
The more you know,
the
better you can protect yourself.
Well said. And that's it for this deep dive into forcible entry and detainer.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.
Call now 714-442-9741. Thank you.